Let's chop up a bunch of peppermint bark soap. I'm cutting all of these into samples today because, believe it or not, samples are actually the most popular size in my shop. So I usually make twice as many sample size soaps as I do the normal ones. I decided to try a new soap cutting technique today because you guys keep begging me to just stack the layers on top of each other and cut them all at once. And it was definitely a struggle at the beginning. As you can see, it just felt like it was very uneven, and it's a lot more difficult to push the cutter through 3 layers of soap rather than just one. But with practice, I feel like I got a lot better at it, and I actually might keep this technique because it feels like it saves me a lot of time. I also realized that some of these batches of soap had been sitting on my counter for several hours versus a few that had just been sitting for a couple of minutes. And there is a big difference in cutting those soaps. If it's been sitting out for a few hours, it is much more difficult to cut. So I think I just need to make sure that I cut the soap pretty soon after I make it, and I won't struggle nearly as much. Now, a couple people have asked why I flip over my soaps, and I always make sure that the same color is touching itself when I'm stacking them. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I hope you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the reason that I do that is that the colorants that I use, whether they're natural or they're just with mica, they can sometimes bleed, and I would hate for the appearance of the soap to be at all tainted just because of the way that I stacked it while I was waiting to package it. So I hope that makes sense. Another frequently asked question that I get is, why don't I wear gloves while I'm making my soap? And the answer to that is that it is literally soap. Of course, I wash my hands over and over and over to make sure that I'm not cross-contaminating things, but I do feel like using gloves every time that I make soap is a bit of a waste. And if you're wondering why I was wearing gloves in my most recent soap cutting video, that was literally just to see how y'all would react. The reaction was exactly how I expected. I can't escape from controversy.